They say that a diary is the only place where you can be truly honest without fear of judgment. For a long time, my diary was the only safe place I had left. I had secrets of a life that looked one way on the outside, but felt like a nightmare on the inside. I'm Adeana, and today I'm finally opening those pages. Welcome to Adeana's diary. The turning point for me was 2025. We all have years that define us, but 2025 was the year that fundamentally broke me open. I'd spent 10 years, a whole decade, on and off with someone I thought I knew. But last year, the mask didn't just slip, it shattered. I came face to face with a side of a human being that was darker than I ever could have imagined. I wasn't just dealing with a breakup, I was dealing with a campaign of destruction. My business was sabotaged, my devices were hacked, my digital life, my privacy, my sense of safety and peace were stripped away. For a long time, I didn't even feel safe in my own home. It wasn't just abuse, it was psychological warfare. The night I decided I was going to share my story was the last of many nights I had asked for help. I'd called the police to help me make sense of another event that once again left me scared and confused. The psychological warfare I was living constantly had me questioning the safety of me and my kids, but instead of helping, they made me out to be crazy. They didn't investigate, they didn't look into any evidence, they only seemed interested in discrediting everything I was saying. I realized the horrific truth about what it's actually like for myself and so many others going through this level of abuse. It's lonely, terrifying, and it's profoundly isolating because you realize there's literally nowhere to turn. I made a promise to myself that night, and I actually shared it with the cops. I said to them, when I get through this, I am telling my story. I am going to help others who have gone through or who are going through the exact same thing as me because the response and the lack of support I'm getting is absolutely disgusting. And now, to put a spin on things for a minute, let's bring in astrology. As I talk about events and experiences in the podcast, I'm going to show you how astrology has always reflected these experiences and events in my life. Now, when I met this person, I had Neptune on my descendant. Neptune is the planet of illusion, delusion, confusion. Neptune blurs boundaries, blurs lines, and makes things extremely confusing where you are seeing people, places, and things with rose colored glasses. Your perception in that moment or during the time of Neptune transiting that space of your chart is very diluted. And there's always something you're not seeing clearly. Neptune exactly conjunct my descendant would indicate that when I met this person, there would be something about him that I would not see clearly, whether it's lies, deception. This was not going to be a genuine connection based on truth. I wasn't practicing astrology back then like I do now, or maybe things would have been different. Let's fast forward to spring of 2023. We had been broken up for about a year and a half, 2 years at this point. Saturn had just entered Pisces, March of 2023, and I have Pisces in my seventh house of relationships and one on one connections. Shortly after Saturn ingressed into my seventh house, him and I started talking. And we always did chat on and off because we have a child, but we were spending time together and it was becoming a lot more friendlier and more, I don't know if I'd say intimate, but more friendlier than usual. And I wasn't sure why because I had never had any intentions on getting back with him. So Saturn moves into my seventh house and we start hanging out again. And when Saturn stationed retrograde, we stopped talking. For one reason or another, I decided to pull away. And then Saturn stationed direct November of 2023, so fall of that year. As soon as Saturn stationed direct, it was almost as if something had shifted inside of me to give this relationship one more go. So I thought maybe Saturn was trying to show me I had been wrong about some part of the relationship and somewhat of what I thought he was, and maybe testing my commitment. But I did know one way or another that Saturn was either going to show me that I was wrong and this is a good committed partnership that I should invest in, or I was completely right and you're finally going to see things clearly. Now, just a side note, the beginning of 2023, I started my astrology business. I was full force, completely focused on growing my astrological career and really investing everything into my business. Isn't it funny that these certain individuals come at those times when you are growing the most? It's like they come in to deter you off your path. I also want to mention too that he had other coinciding energies in his chart that was indicating a relationship, a karmic partnership would be coming back from the past. He actually had the lunar nodes at that time were in Aries and Libra, and he's Aries rising. So the South Node just entered his seventh house of relationships. And that very literally can represent that there is a relationship coming back from the past. My view on astrology and knowing everything I know, I knew that this was happening either to make us or break us, which is exactly what it did. By going back, I got answers. And for the first time in 10 years, the illusion was gone. The truth came out. And I discovered there was so much going on for years, even when we were not together, the hacking, the tracking, and the watching me for years. I will talk more about this entire journey through the episodes in the podcast. But if you are going through something that sounds too crazy to be true, if you're being gaslit by the very systems that are supposed to protect you, I want you to hear me. You are not crazy. I believe you because I've lived it. This experience was designed to break me. It only served to forge the woman I am today, more stronger, more wiser, and more faith and trust in my intuition, because everything my intuition had told me for years that I just could not ignore was real and true. And that is what Saturn showed me. I'm going to use this podcast to speak my truth, tell my story, and reclaim my power, and bring anyone else along for the journey and make sure no one else has to walk this path alone. Thank you for being here for the first episode. Let's build a community where truth is the foundation and healing is the only goal.